There now.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm blessed, grateful to be breathing.
Take what we can get.
How was your day so far? It's late in the afternoon now.
Yes, it's actually late in the afternoon, and I have a few more appointments after this. The thing is that since I like to spend my time speaking on Zoom to my friends in the United States,
Okay.
they like to wake up late, so they make their appointments later and later. So after this, I have 2 or 3 appointments or something like that, and then the mother of a friend of mine passed away, so he is sitting Shiva. He is spending the week accepting condolences, and it is traditional that people sit in their home and people come and visit them for an entire week, and daily prayers are held in those homes. The prayers that are usually held in the synagogue are held in those homes, and so I'm going to be going to his house to pray the afternoon and evening prayer, and then afterwards I have another meeting. Busy.
A very good thing to be doing, and I pray that God will use you to bring comfort to the family.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Well, look, I'm an old guy and I'm up early, right?
I don't know, what time did you wake up?
Well, I've got a delivery coming today, so I had to walk down to the gate and open the gate, and that's about 100-yard walk.
Okay, so you've done your duty for today. You can go back to sleep now.
I may go to sleep on you, so you better be very interested. So tell me about your Passover. Did you have a good Passover with your family?
Well, certainly. We actually had a relatively small Passover Seder. I have 3 married children and 2 unmarried children. My oldest is not married, and she decided to go to a friend's for the Passover Seder. And my youngest is also not married. She's only 19. And she was by us, and we had my son, my older married son by us. That was it. So we were just the 7 of us, including the 4-month-old baby, I think.
Oh, that was interesting.
No, a 4-month-old baby isn't that interesting. I think he was asleep the whole time.
Oh, well, that could be a blessing.
Yeah. And we had our 3-4-year-old grandson was there, but he's not very talkative, so he didn't really do much in asking the 4 questions. It's a very well-known tradition. I'm telling you this, I'm sure you know it. I'm saying it for the benefit of our viewers.
Well, what makes these questions different?
Exactly. The very famous part.
Why don't you tell us won't you review these 4 questions with us for our viewers who may not be familiar with them? Would that be all right?
Well, we'll see. On a little higher level, the very famous part of the Passover Seder night is when the youngest or the younger people at the festive meal read or recite 4 questions, and as you said, why is this? And they are actually 1 question with 4 parts. Why is this night different from all other nights? I certainly know it in Hebrew. Let's see if I can translate it on the fly into English. On all of the nights we eat matzah, the unleavened bread, and leavened bread products. On this night we only eat the leavened bread. On all other nights we eat all sorts of vegetables. On this night we only eat the bitter vegetable. Well, we don't really only eat the bitter vegetable. We also eat the bitter vegetable. But everybody sings it by mistake that we only eat the bitter, which is, of course, not true. We have, if anybody's ever been to a Passover Seder, then you eat plenty of stuff there, and it's all delicious. On all other nights, we either recline or sit straight, and on this night we recline. And on all other nights, we don't even dip one time, referring to dipping a certain vegetable. Even one time we don't dip, and on this night we dip twice. There are a lot of different things about the evening, but those are the things that the Mishnah mentioned, and so that is what is a part of the Haggadah, and that's it. So I don't even remember who said the 4 questions. The rabbis say even if you are all alone at your Seder, then you ask yourself those questions.
Okay, that's good. Of course. Well, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. I'm sure our viewing audience appreciates it too.
Did you participate in a Seder this year?
Our neighbors had a special Seder and had some friends over, so we were happy to support them. And of course, we have students who are now leading their own. So we do at our age, we're sort of the father and grandfather helping the younger ones find their own way with it. So we're more of a guide and coach and father rather than doing it ourselves so much these days. So
right,
making many disciples. So that's one of the first things in the Judeo-Christian tradition, is to make many disciples. So
of course,
this is what you're only one generation away from your understanding of your faith, so you have to pass it on to the next generation. So this is what we do.
Wait, what was that? What was that Bookerism? You're only one generation what?
Away from losing your faith.
Right.
So the good book from the very beginning says, teach it to your children and your children's children. Unknown caller. This keeps going on. I'm sorry. So we had that, and then our friends up in McKinney had their March of Remembrance yesterday, which is again our students.
Yes. Did you go? Were you up there?
No, well, we were up there through the students. That's the thing. We're living that out through them now, like you're living your life through your children in many ways. So they had that. I haven't called yet today to find out how things went. I have that on my schedule. And then this coming Sunday, the local one in an area called Kingwood is having theirs this Sunday. Again, those are former students of ours, so we're passing all of this on to the next generation, and hopefully they're doing that for their spiritual descendants.
But your McKinney students will be coming down for the Houston March of Remembrance.
I don't really know. Some of them might be. I don't really know. So there's a lot of interaction between people of like-mindedness, you know.
Of course. I remember fondly my visits to the United States. I don't think I ever made it to a Walk of Remembrance, March of Remembrance. I don't know if down in Houston they held them annually, or towards the last few years before COVID they stopped having them every year.
It's relatively new, so I don't know when you were here last, but they've only been doing it a few years, so probably wasn't happening. We had our Kristallnacht Memorial for 18 years, and we like to think, and they think too, that this is an extension of that.
Very good. Well, what about your Seder? I understand that you didn't lead it, but you participated in the one next door, you're saying.
Well, we supported it, put it that way.
Okay, so you didn't make it. All right. Very nice. So anyway, yeah, so I was at the Seder here at my own home. In Israel, we only have one Seder, while outside of Israel, you celebrate 2 nights of the first nights of the holiday. It's been a while since I've done that, quite a while. And then on Shabbat, we were home, I think, but we went for a walk. I guess you could call it a march, with thousands, I think tens of thousands of other Israelis, to a small community called Evyatar, not far from where my son lives and my daughter is doing her national service, near Tapuach. It's a community that was founded in memory of a gentleman who was murdered by terrorists. His name was Evyatar. But they weren't really, they didn't get complete permission to set up that community yet.
I understand. That's a nice way of putting it.
No, that's the way it was. They had a lot of government officials encouraging them, but they didn't dot all the T's and then the government said, listen, move out of there now, but we'll bring you back in a few months. So the few months have passed, and now we're pressuring the government. Yalla, bring them back. So it was very nice. And then what else did I do during? I think the next day we did something else. I don't really remember. But the big deal over Passover, just 1 second. The big deal over Passover was the very tragic, I'm sure you've heard of this, the very tragic terror attack that murdered 2 children, 2 girls, and their mother in a single family. It was very, very tragic.
Of course, I read about it.
The family, whose name is Dee, D-E-E, and they are a family that moved to Israel from England, and they lived in Efrat, not far from me. So last Shabbat after Passover, I went to visit their home. To again, they were sitting shiva. You don't sit shiva. You don't accept official. There's no official ritual sitting of a week during a holiday. So if somebody dies during an 8 or 7 day long holiday, you defer that week long mourning period till after the holiday. So they started doing that only after the holiday, which I think was today's, I don't even know what today is. Today's Monday, I think. So that's probably last week on Thursday night or maybe Wednesday night they started. So on Saturday night, my wife and I went over there, and it was packed like a subway train.
Well, very good.
Thousands of people came to pay their respects and to
I wish we could have been there and done that ourselves, but we have been, pretty much aware of every difficult incident for a long time, and it's may God bring a swift end to those kinds of things.
Amen. Yeah, so we went there, and the prime minister went, and the president of Israel went to pay his respects, because very, very, very and as it is so often, not always, but so often when there's a terror attack, especially if it's a double, especially if it's a triple. There aren't too many terror attacks that there's a triple terror attack, but sometimes the families are such incredibly upstanding members of the community, such beacons of values, and that's what's happening over here. The father, who, what happened is that not the boys and the girls, they were a family of 7, 2 parents and 5 children. So 3 children were traveling with the father, and two girls were traveling with the mother. And so with the terrorists shot at the mother's car, and it flipped over and it stayed inside, and then the terrorists approached the car and shot the children and the mother 20 times each or something like that. They had no chance. So the father was a teacher of Torah, so he's all the time going online and teaching, and he's also encouraging people to do things in their memory, to wave the Israeli flag, and to do a good deed, and to give gifts to each other, all sorts of things like that. Just an incredibly uplifting and inspiring person and family.
I can't imagine the pain that they have to live with for that, but may God comfort them and make his love and presence known to them in a special
Amen.
way.
And it came on the heels of I believe we spoke about this, of another pair of brothers who also were killed up near where my son lived. That was, I think, a month or 2 ago. And before that, there was another couple of sons, younger sons, like 6-year-olds or something like that. And then after the D family was murdered, all of those 3 families were murdered by terrorists. But a few days after the D's were killed, there was a traffic accident that 2 brothers were, a brother and a sister were killed in a traffic accident. So these 4, and of course, when a Jew is killed in Israel, then the whole country feels like it's one of us. So here you had 4 family members, 8 family members, really 9 if you count the mother, but 8 sets of siblings that were killed. And this past Shabbat, we read every Shabbat a portion of the Torah, which is from Genesis to Deuteronomy, 5 books of Moses. Each one of those books is divided into approximately 10 portions, 10 weekly portions. So you have about 50 weekly portions. So each week you read another portion. So this week we read the portion of Shmini. Let me quickly tell you when that was. 1 second. That is Vayikra. Shmini, here it is. Vayikra is Leviticus. It is from chapter 9, 10, 11, pretty much. 9, 10, 11, yeah. And 12 is already the next chapter. So that chapter, that passage is Leviticus chapters 9, 10, and 11. What is that passage discusses a few things, but what is one of the passages, what the main story that portion discusses? When the 2 sons of Aaron died when they were dedicating the tabernacle. So can you imagine the whole country is mourning these 2 girls coming on and his brother and sister also, but more so the 2 girls. It's a terror attack is much more impactful to Israel than understandably than a traffic accident. Unfortunately, a death is a death, especially though since the mother also was killed, and also since the father is so inspiring. And then that is what you talk about in the week. in the weekly portion, the sons of Aaron dying also. So it's just incredible.
We've been there numerous times when these unfortunate things were happening. I remember one year, a long time ago now, when it was about 3 or 4 terrorist attacks back to back, and it's quite a long time ago now. The ones I'm talking about, we were actually there for the feast, and we were at the hotel there next door to the Binyan Nahuma, and early in the morning, it was still dark. We heard sirens, and that was not a good feeling. They'd be hearing those sirens in that time of the darkness.
This was during the Feast of the Tabernacle?
Yeah, it was early on, and so it was a number of terrorist activities back to back, but the particular one is they blew up bus number 18 there at the bus station.
Wow.
Across the street from the Binyan.
Really?
And so we could hear all that. It was still maybe 4 or 5 in the morning or something. So we happened to be staying over that time, and first thing we did was to get on a newer bus number 18 and ride it, showing solidarity with the Israelis. So we've seen quite a few things that are unfortunate during the times that we've been there, but I'm glad we were there to help as much little bit we could to encourage people.
Wow. See, that's really crazy. Yeah, what can I do? But I think it's important to say that as much as these tragic events shake our world in Israel, we quickly get ourselves up and dust ourselves off and continue living. And our lives are amongst the happiest lives in the world. We just recently saw that there was some sort of a survey of the happiest places in the world. I think Israel came up number 4, maybe number 10. Let me check.
It was in the top 10.
The happiest countries in the world. It's all CNN here. Come on. Here, let's see if the World Population Review will. This is 2019. Here, Forbes ranked it. 1 second. Can't even. 1 second. My computer's a little bit slow. Come on, you can give us the list here. Here we are. Israel is number 4.
Well, what's the first 3? I got to know. Texas is probably number 1.
These are countries, not states.
Well, wait a minute now. Texas was an independent country before.
Okay, when you'll get back to being an independent country, I'm sure that you will be number 1.
Well,
at least 1 year.
Well, we think of ourselves as sort of independent.
Okay, you can think of yourselves, but you don't make it. That's not the way you're asked. Anyway, yeah, like I was going to say, and I got to get finishing up over here. The world's 20th happiest countries, number 1 through number, through number 8. Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Israel, Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, and Switzerland.
What? All of
those are the 8. The top 8.
All of those. What makes them so happy? I wonder.
It's because they're all way up north, a whole bunch of snow, and that's it. They just stay all day long by their heaters. Except for Israel. Israel's action. Every place else is boring. And then number 9 is Luxembourg. I don't even know what that is. And then comes New Zealand. So what happens in New Zealand? Anyway, things are always happening in Israel. Let me write that down over here. 1 second. And it will continue being happy and even happier and happier as God brings us closer to the complete redemption.
And I hope we both live to see it.
Amen. So,
I love
my
you.
friend, I will be in touch with you regarding next week. I think I may be doing something, but as we always do, I will contact you first.
Please give our regards to your family.
And you too, to your wife as well.
Thank you.